plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard. Rowan said he got sour, need that whole yard. I'm chasing turkey bag, I'm chasing gold yard. Tell her down, we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff the whole jar. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run into Riri, let's make magic. Die doing something you love, it ain't tragic. Heard what I said.
Yeah, you got to hear a little bit more of the
I
song
love
this
it,
week.
Joe. I love it. Yeah, it's a
We
great
got to
song.
roll right into
We like
the
to,
verse.
we like to support our independent artists. So if you are a cannabis enthusiast and you happen to do some music, hip hop, R&B, soul, country, bluegrass, salsa, merengue, polka,
Yeah, let's get it.
whatever you'd like,
But it has to be weed themed.
it's gotta be weed themed and independent
And
so
no
if you-
swearing.
and no swearing. So if you're an independent and you make some type of music, let us know. We'd love to get you on the radio. We
Yeah.
need a new theme song. We love them. They've taken care of us, and we like rotating and showing the love, right?
That's it.
What's up, Joe? Talk to
First
us.
things first.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
And as always, you can find if you're on my Instagram feed, I'm on live as well. So you can follow me at your_Uncle Lou, and you'll be able to see us live. You even get some updates from everything we do. It's fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, busy weekend this weekend, Uncle Lou?
Yes, sir. We had a great weekend, brother.
Yes.
It was a great holiday weekend.
Yes, I stopped by the farm. It was fun.
Yes, sir.
I met the crew.
You did meet the crew. We have a great bunch of people.
They're
at
awesome.
all the properties that we work at. Joe, it's become an honor and a privilege to kind of do this.
To be
Share
a
the
farmer,
love.
yeah, man.
And I feel the love of the plant. I feel the love of the people, and it's not a one-person show, man. It's a village. It's an absolute village.
Yeah.
And I'm just a newbie, man. I don't know very much about what's going on. I'm learning as
we go,
man.
right.
I'm like, oh, you're a hemp farmer. I'm like, well, I'm not yet, but maybe, hopefully, at the end of this season. You know what I mean?
That's what they call hands-on training, right?
Hands-on training, total hands-on training.
That's it, man. I'm all about that.
There's some good people that are teaching, so I can't be wrong with
Yeah.
that. I've been working with Butch, and he's been doing a great job of showing me a lot of awesome things, and so
Excellent.
always throw a great shout out there for him. So he's handling that, and the
Yep.
places look amazing by how he takes care of the farm.
No, he's a great guy. We've had him on the show before.
Yes, sir. He knows what he's
and,
doing. That's a grower. I'm not a grower.
right. Give him some props, getting his license and doing the thing in
He
Connecticut.
is doing his thing. He's got 2 awesome farms that he also takes care of. He's got many properties, and it's an awesome, awesome, awesome thing.
Yes. And I got to give a shout out to all the hemp farmers in Connecticut. I got to
Yes.
just say, just by visiting the farm,
Dylan up in town.
I haven't seen it
farm,
yet.
He's got such a nice setup from where I see in the papers and everything. I'd really love to get up there and see him. And he's been an awesome guy. I got to work with him as well.
He's from the Yukon Grow,
That's
so he's
right.
actually the premier, one of the
This
first
is his
hemp growers in
second
Connecticut.
season in Connecticut.
Third?
He's third. He's the only one that can say that as well.
Yeah.
And we was working
Maybe we
with
should
Jeff.
try and get him on
We
the
should
show.
definitely. If he
Because
could
we've had all
listening,
the other farmers.
yeah, and Dylan's a good guy, and we like him. And once again, another positive guy who's always been receptive. And
Yeah.
like I said, Connecticut hemp is a very awesome place. We had Mike Goodenough on. He's so
He's got another
he's
great
got
setup.
a great setup
indoor
going on. Yes, sir.
and processing now.
high
So
end.
high-end indoor, yeah.
So like I'm doing a couple different things. So as we talk hemp, I'm doing a lot of biomass.
Right. Well, there's big money in that.
It's
and there's-
different.
Yeah.
It is different than what Mike is doing.
Yes. Well, he's doing biomass too.
He's doing a lot of good boutique bud though.
Yes. Yes,
He's
for
doing-
extraction
yeah.
and everything, yeah.
And that's what Butch is doing.
Yeah.
Butch is doing boutique flowers.
But there's so many uses for him.
Right. I'm doing biomass. So the
Right.
difference in how we planted things, I planted a foot apart.
Right.
That's it. Not very much room. These plants are not going to be the wide, bushy. This is an outdoor
They're going to
field.
grow up.
They're going to
mostly.
grow up. You
Yeah.
know, This is an outdoor field. I would love to get a bunch of this for some fiber.
Right.
And if I can sell it to a place that's going to make some jeans, guys.
Or hempcrete.
Hempcrete. I like hempcrete. I like hemp fiberboard.
Those are the uses that people don't always understand or realize. That's what makes hemp so valuable. You know, CBD is one thing, and that's the hottest thing right now. My God. You know, I'm in the CBD business. We're all in the CBD business, but I'm getting sick of seeing CBD all over the place. I went to Cumberland Farms the other day to get gas, right? And here on the pump, you know, they put those little circles advertising whatever they're selling this month on special. Well, guess what's on special this month?
What is on special?
CBD.
Is it really? Wow.
You know, I mean, this is Cumberland Farms. Now they're advertising. It used to be like gas stations carried it, but it was like
it was hiding
behind
in the back
counter,
and it wasn't a thing.
No, not anymore, man. They're right out there advertising it, and it's all over. I was talking to my roommate today about some multi-level company that somebody was trying to get her involved in, and it's like,
oh man,
yeah, and it's just it waters it down and dilutes it. And people have now associated hemp and CBD.
Yep.
But before CBD,
hemp processes.
Hemp was used for rope, sails, canvas, clothing. You know, they were
parachutes, everything. The military used it.
Military used the hell of hemp, and they used to feed it to livestock.
That's right. That's a happy hempy cow.
Yeah.
True.
So
now,
they didn't extract CBD.
Hey, Joe,
it was full plant.
We have somebody inside the guest chair here.
Yes.
Kebra is in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So she is doing awesome work.
She's doing a clinic down there, a medical clinic.
A medical clinic, and it's awesome. There's doctors, nurses, everybody from all works of medical world going down there and volunteering their time. And she did that from the kindness of her heart. She's a great soul. She's a good egg, one might say.
Yeah, but she's on Puerto Rico.
But she's in Puerto Rico, enjoying that life, looking it up because of the sexy. So we have
soaking it up.
So she's gonna call in a little bit. I'm gonna just text her and let her know when. But
she will be our call-in guest.
But it's nice down there. She's on the plaza, and they set up clinics for the people down there who really can't afford medical care. I don't know if you know about Vieques where she is, but they lost their hospital in the hurricane, and they have yet to rebuild it. So they're operating out of temporary hospitals and trailers. And so they need every now and then, the people aren't getting the kind of medical care they need. So every now and then, every month or so, they do these clinics. And Kebra just happened to be on the one for this month.
Which is awesome. And she really does share it out. She really does, you know. So she gets to share knowledge, and she's over there working, probably doing some networking in the cannabis world as well.
I've made her.
I
made her some connections.
Very nice.
I remember I have relatives on that island.
Yeah. So we have Ashley with us as we get to that because we'll just keep talking.
Sharing the good. Sharing the good.
So we have Ashley Stowell, who is the CEO of Present Naturals Distribution, and it is
also the founder of the Rec Book. Right?
And the founder of the Rec Book and a couple other projects that he has in works from throughout the country. He's from the West Coast. And he came out to check out the farms because, you know, nutraceuticals, CBD, hemp. Why wouldn't you want to be on the ground level, touching things, feeling them, just living life, I guess, appreciating what the earth gives us.
Oof, giving right back.
That's right.
Full cycle.
Thank you for coming and joining us, and thank you for being out here and for imparting some of your knowledge and time and talking. And, you know, hey, it's pretty cool to share a soda with a guy from the West Coast, and you get to talk about the same subject, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing else really connects you other than this one awesome plant that gets us to grow all together, you know? So thank you for coming out and taking your time to come into the studio with us, man. That was awesome.
Tell us, I know you've been spending a lot of time in Colombia and out of the country.
Verdad.
Tell us a little bit about your company. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, and you know, give us a little insight about what you've learned about the international hemp market.
Yeah, you know, it's been quite the journey. Thankful to be here with you guys, continually making history. Give a shout out in Puerto Rico, doing the right thing, doing the good thing. You know?
Yes.
And maybe we all continue that trend. That's how we're gonna get it done.
Right.
You know, as a founder now, you know, business owner in the space for the last couple of years with Present Naturals, you know, it's been a journey to see, you know, where we can push it on the legality level, but also for an adoption level, you know, letting people know that this is a real thing. being able to have individuals, like Luis Vega, becomes, the first Connecticut
Latino
farmer.
Yes.
Amazing stuff going on right now, literally in the fields. People starting in the soil, getting the seeds going, all the way through full phase development.
Right.
It becomes that much more real. So, going around the country, being able to see other individuals, make history and try to do their thing in their established communities, and especially with our, brothers and sisters down to the South, South America, which is part of the Americas.
Right. That's what people forget.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an American. Well, so is Central America, and so is, it's North America, South America, Central America.
Yes, sir.
So we're all Americans.
Yes, sir.
Tied by land bridges.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Commerce, boats, airplanes now. I mean, when you look down from space, you see that we are truly connected.
Yeah.
And even the things that we think separate us actually bring us closer together. So,
yes, sir.
That's the love of this industry, and part of the major thanks of being here, being able to sit in the seat, swap up while somebody else is clear across the water, bringing so good, hanging with somebody who's making literal history, and then somebody who's been setting the tone forever, forever,
Blessings.
It's super blessing. So, as Present Naturals, we've been formulating products, for the last 4 years, started and grow, started with the seeds, wanted to create clones so people can do their thing, and then realized that we needed to find a faster way to be able to actually get product out to people. So that's been our mission, delivering quality goods, valuable goods to people who can use them right now.
Right.
And also with the rec book, the education side, letting people know that this is real and that they can actually do it, and kind of walk them through the process and give them some, visual stimuli to be like, hey, this is real. This is going on in your respective area.
Yeah.
Right? Different parts of the world. A lot of people engaging right now. I mean, really always,
Absolutely.
right? It's like the Olympics. We're literally passing the torch along. I didn't start this race.
You were in, though, on the beginning. I will say, you're out in Washington and Seattle. And, the rec book was kind of very groundbreaking. I mean, you saw the need for that, the little tabletop book explaining the recreational marijuana industry when there are only a few states legal, And same thing with Present Naturals. People don't know, but you've been in business, like you say, 4 years. A lot of these CBD companies have not been in business that long. So you kind of have an advantage coming from Washington and then being able to spread knowledge. You're like a veteran in the CBD industry. And, it's great that you're spreading this out now internationally.
Super thankful. When you put it like that, I have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge the time that we invest, in ourselves and our friends, personnel, you name it. So being able to do the educational style, it literally started out of people just asking.
Yeah.
They wanted to know, is it really legal? Is that really a thing? Can I come visit you? Yes, you absolutely can. Can I do that? Yes, you can. So we started formulating,
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede. Seriously. And really just let them know this isn't real time. This is what we need to do, collective. And then, taking it one step further, because I had a background in creating products in orthopedics and other respective spaces, it was really the next logical thing to do.
Right.
Is to really let's put this together. Let's test it. Let's continue to deliver better products. Right. And I realized that the more you do it, the more people it becomes real.
Right.
We have tangible things. We tend to be tactile. Right.
Right. We have to set an example to show people that, hey, this is real. That's why, Luis was in the Register and Connecticut Post. People see this now. They see pictures of actual hemp plants that look like weed. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, wow, they're really doing it in Connecticut. When they see a picture of it, or me, when I go visit the farm and actually be able to touch the plants and look at them and water them and, be a part of that. That's important. That shows people that this is the real deal. And they need to realize, I think, hemp even more than cannabis. They're both the same.
They're both cannabis.
We it's a good way to distinguish them, but because there are differences in their chemical makeup. But
right,
it's true. But now we have a baseline, right? Where hey, anybody can just basically go ahead and plant that in your garden. You don't have to worry about the safety of anything. You don't have to really worry about your other plants, right? This plant plays very well with you.
We know that the rest of the plants that they're going to be growing,
it grows very well with others.
They're very it's a communal plant.
Absolutely,
it's not going to choke out the roots of other plants.
Even though it's called weed, it doesn't grow like that where it takes everything over.
Correct, Joe.
You don't need to pour pesticides on it. You don't need to chase it away.
Stays in its own lane, one plant at a time. Right. Yeah. No, it's a great
Yeah.
plant. Even though they call it weed, it's not. Definitely has much more uses than any weed that I know. So
It's my girlfriend.
That's right.
I like
That's
to
my
date.
Mary Jane.
now a little bit about Colombia. Now I know you've been spending time there, and I know they've just recently opened up Colombia for export, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And they did change the laws down there about personal consumption and possession of cannabis as well. Am I correct?
Major win for the people of Colombia.
Right.
You know, they had always had loose terms laws since the 86. Right, one of the longest places that's had recreational laws technically.
Right.
Right, the new president tried to come in and reverse legislation basically,
Go
saying
back
that
to the old way.
yeah, trying to say that no public consumption wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed to grow up to X amount of plants, which is 20, and they struck it down in court. Major momentous opportunity and time for the people of Colombia.
Right.
You know, people are really catching on. They're getting more engaged. They have smartphones,
Right.
right? There's universities, people who are interested,
Right.
doing everyday things, trying to enjoy their lives. So when they took something from them, people actually stood up, and it was a
That's
big
good to
breaking point
see.
for the people. Yeah,
And you said 20 plants?
20 beautiful, all natural
20
plants.
sun grown on the Colombian equator. What?
You don't have to do much. Let me
No.
tell you.
Wow.
I've
was
seen,
there.
I've
Throw
seen
'em
some,
out there,
oh,
right?
man, some
Yeah.
beautiful girls out there just hanging in the wind.
just flowing. Because when you see a beautiful hemp plant or a cannabis plant or something, you could see its leaves just swaying.
Oh
up
yeah, it's
like
nice.
this. All their
Oh,
little
it's true.
leaves just kind of sit up and they, ooh, it's awesome.
very
So,
nice.
What was
you
that? What
know,
was that toy? You know, you used to play music and it would dance.
Oh yeah, it had a name for it. Yeah.
That's kind of what's going on.
It was like solar power. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Glasses on the flower. Yeah.
So it's been a lot of pretty cool. It's been that's cool, man. 20 plants in Colombia, man.
Wow.
20 plants, and they're doing it freely. They're being brave, you know. And I noticed on their local level, you know, there's people who are really trying to be advocates, saying that you can, right? Let's kill the stigma, right? We're not just a country about coca. We're not just
Right.
about the illegal Malta. We actually have a legal cannabis industry that potentially could be on the forefront worldwide, because
Right.
now they're set up through their departments for import export.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So their cash crops have always been around agriculture.
Right.
Right.
Because it's great growing weather.
It's perfect. I
Perfect growing
mean, if
weather.
there was a Garden of Eden, it's pretty darn close down there.
Right.
That's
right,
beautiful.
Right.
And you know, just discussing this moving forward, you take the idea of legal hemp and cannabis with the import and export. Canada's looking to start importing soon. You know,
Right. That's one of the countries that will most likely import from Colombia, correct?
Correct.
You know?
And currently in play. It is. You know, there's definitely assembly lines between Canada, Europe, different pinpoints in Europe.
Germany, I know, is big with imports and exports.
Huge.
There's not a lot of growing
Italy,
space there.
France.
These people don't realize these small countries are limited,
right?
and they need to grow food still. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's only a certain amount of land they have available to grow hemp and cannabis, but they still have large populations with a demand. So they
Yeah.
need to import and export
Yeah.
really to go up with their demand.
It's true, and Colombia is in a really good position, you know, almost like a belly button in a sense, where logistically
yeah.
they can really have a really grand reach,
Right.
right? Like we're all saying, the grow conditions are phenomenal, yields are phenomenal.
But-
There's a lot of learnings.
You also have great for transportation as well. If I'm not wrong, is it accessible by land and sea
Yeah, there is
and air?
yeah, the manifest. So
Yeah.
those are being worked on literally, you know, and I'd say trial by error in a sense. I
Mhm.
think it's going to come down to quality assurance,
Yeah.
you know, and
Right.
be able to make sure we get things there on time
From
and
here to there.
especially as finished products, you know.
Right.
So the way that they've done it, they've gone about it on the legal, you know, between the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Health. They've really been able to create a process that's really forward thinking, and I think it's because they have so much experience, you know, on the ecology side as well, being able to be like, this is what needs to happen. This is
Right.
the most logical approach. Stuff that we see in the States, you know, on the state level, they're still kind of scattered about, and on the
Mm.
federal level, almost seemingly fearful about.
Yeah.
Right? Being able to figure out how do we do this.
Right.
Well, yeah, I want to point out
But
an
the
article.
world is always bigger than just the U.S.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing sometimes here in the U.S. we don't remember.
Wait till they start pumping it out of
You
Africa.
know.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
Africa is gonna. Well,
Right?
we already
What?
know cannabis was. So, for those who aren't truly aware about the cannabis strain hunter ideology that came from Africa, South Africa mostly, and then Europe, Amsterdam, Dutch countries. The strain hunters idea was in the Congo countries that don't have that formal style governments that aren't adhering to UN laws,
Mhm.
where it's basically rampant. They're taking 300-400 acres and seeding fields out, just seeding
Yeah,
fields.
'cause you don't have to do much.
You don't have to do anything. And now this is where they're strain hunting. This is where they're going and in the field, in the African sun or the Congo, or you can see documentaries on this on Netflix called Strain Hunters. So there's an entire brand. You can actually start. There's some recreational shops out in LA called Strain Hunters because it's a brand that came out
And they try and find these
and they
exotic
did what?
strains.
Super exotic strain, and then they dial it down to that one strain, and that one strain gets cloned, and then they clone 100 plants off of that one mother
They
plant,
bring it here.
and then they send it over here in a clone or something because it's not illegal to send a seed out. Seeds are legal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Seeds are souvenir seeds. They're just in genetics, and you can send a seed from the Congo over to California where it's legal now, and they
And you
register
grow it
their
there, yeah.
seeds. They grow it out, and now you have an American-based genetic.
Very engaging show. I mean, those guys literally have gone out into the brush.
Yes, sir.
You know, they've lost personnel.
Yeah, land
Yeah.
race because
Yeah.
they're looking for land races.
I mean, that's part of the journey that I think I love the most. You know, going to Jamaica, going to small islands, going to little provinces off those islands, you know, and especially when you look at the earth as a whole, you know, you realize these areas were really grouped together.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the stuff that grows deciduously there grows in other places as well.
All over that
Yes.
area.
And we're proving it. I mean, these
Right.
super fruits. I mean, even the crop cover for some of these things. I mean, it's just beautiful. You could taste it.
And
Yes,
it's
sir.
natural. It grows natural. Like I said, I just spent some time even on Puerto Rico.
Mm.
And literally, they encourage you to pick the fruit off the trees or else it's going to go rotten.
That's right.
So, truthfully, if you stay there for a whole season, but every season you could eat basically for free because mangoes grow at one point and then bananas grow and then avocados are growing and papayas. Everything you need is right there, and it's right there growing naturally. You don't even have to farm it or cultivate it.
It's important, Joe.
Yeah, it is. It's very important to have that
Yeah,
kind, and we
you know.
lose that in a cosmopolitan area like
we
where we
lose it, we forget it, and,
Right.
And you know, this is where we see all the bumper stickers. No farms, no food.
Right.
Mm.
I love my farmer.
Yeah.
Farm stands are the best stands, or you know, all of
People
these
have to
different.
realize, where does the food they eat that get at the supermarket come
Right.
from? You know, it doesn't just it
Listen,
has to grow somewhere. And
Today we took Ashley over to the farm, and he was dodging cucumbers,
Some healthy ones.
healthy cucumbers, healthy cucumbers, and there was some squash and tons of basil, because you know you have to grow other things as well. You have to have crops that are going to yield and pay for your land, and you know
people should be learning this in school.
they should
They
learn,
should learn
you know,
how to grow
Absolutely.
in school. They
I-
used to. I guarantee you, in the old days, farming and cultivating was part of their curriculum.
agriculture.
Mhm.
That was your
Because they
agriculture
probably learned
class.
it right in their backyard.
That's right.
In the
Right.
early universities, all the A&Ms.
Right.
You know, for
All
Yep.
agricultural universities, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, huge. I mean, there's a resurgence in that, especially even you know, on a federal level when you look at the spending bills that are coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's gonna be a really big thing. You know, kind of snapping back to the community oriented thing we see down in Georgia and some of the other states and other countries where they have the community gardens.
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
Something that, like, you know, even people who were challenged on an economic level had already used, but now they're really starting to do it in macro scale.
I think what people are finally realizing, I hope, is that they have put their health and their food, the food supply, in other people's hands for a long, long time.
Mm.
And they're starting to find out that those people's hands who they put it in were not very trustworthy and were actually kind of experimenting with the food and feeding it to us. And I think now that that is more out in the public, people are saying, wait a minute. I don't want this genetically modified food. I don't want this factory grown, corporate grown food that we buy at the supermarket. And you're seeing a trend going to more organic and people growing their own. And this is important for, you know, sometimes progress isn't always progress. So mass production of food and mass production of, you know, meat and everything, you know, you may think they all thought it was the greatest thing in the world. You know, now we can inject the meat with hormones and make it bigger. Now we can modify the plants for a bigger yield. But what they didn't realize or take into account for, or maybe they did, was the effect that that modification of those plants would have on the human body.
I got to be in agreement, and I will take it one step further. Even is that I think once the board of directors for a lot of these groups, and even on a community level, once they switch to larger groups who are focused on making money, ROI at the end of the year, once more sales individuals started entering as opposed to practitioners, people who were actually the grounders, who were the farmers, the deliverers. That's when things started to really kind of erode a little bit, because now they're like, hey, how much can we get and how much can we make off of that? As opposed to, hey, let's maintain a quality product, right? Let's make sure that we put the assurance of people's health first,
Right.
over where the buck stops. Because these products are going to make money, right? We have a demand. We have to eat or we don't survive.
Right. Either way, whether we modify or not.
Yeah.
So, and we're in an interesting time. I see in certain things we are seeing a reversal of that. And I think hemp and allowing cannabis to be legal will actually put us back to a place where we were in the 1930s before they made it illegal. Now, we have some time to make up, obviously. But just think about it, if they had never done that, where we would be as a culture and a society right now. People don't realize the impact that making cannabis and hemp illegal actually had, and the whole war on drugs in general, actually had on our society and shaped it in a whole different direction than it would have gone. And they have to understand that, now hopefully we can course correct a little bit, but it's really up to us, the people who are in the industry, to make sure that it doesn't end up like big pharma, big tobacco, big food. We got to make sure that there is still a level of integrity within the cannabis and hemp industry.
There's always going to be the Coca-Cola and Pepsis.
Always.
But there's also always going to be the honest teas and the regional drinks that you may get in your own home country. So, like out here, we have, what's the East Haven brand there?
Foxon. I just had one on the way over.
We have our Foxtons.
Foxons, and there's a few.
But there's not anymore in another place. You don't have the Foxon in California.
Right.
But it's a local trusted brand.
Right.
And they have to compete with Coca-Cola.
They've got to be able to operate.
Right.
And that's the thing. We can't put all the hemp and cannabis in the hands of big companies.
That's right.
No.
The liquor industry was that way for a long, long time. If you were a small guy, you couldn't get in. You still can't get into the tobacco industry if you wanted to really in any kind of big way. And forget about big pharma. There's no such thing as a small company, even though Bayer and all these companies started out as small little pharmaceutical companies selling what? What were they selling? Cannabis tinctures, morphine tinctures, cocaine tinctures. People don't realize, but look at some of those old medicine bottles. They say Bayer on them. That's how they started, as small little companies. And maybe that's a better way to develop new drugs. Because if you have a small little company trying to develop new drugs, they're more apt to think about the human condition. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the money, the money condition. They're more apt to maybe actually put some more time and thought into it, and rather than use it as a cash cow and a big scam machine.
And that's the way we should continue to do this growth, because that's how CBD is going to be grown.
Right.
I'm in full agreement, and that's why I think it's critical that we celebrate the accomplishments and the history that's being made in this time. Make no mistake, because we should absolutely be rooting for the underdog. We should be rooting for the person we haven't heard before and help them get to that next level.
Right.
And I'll reiterate, having the first Latino hemp farmer
right here in the room,
right here.
You're talking about beating it to death.
Yeah, we are. Hey, you got to.
I got to.
Hey, come on, man.
Because it doesn't happen every day.
Come on, man. We got to take it.
We got to.
We'll take the little ones where we can.
Because if we can live.
It's Connecticut, Uncle Lou.
It's Connecticut. The New England. This is historic area. All right, we heard bombs bursting in air the other night. You know what I'm saying? Literally, 4th of July.
That's true. And that's right. And he's absolutely it's more American than hemp, right? George Washington wanted us.
The original flag was made out of hemp.
Right. The Declaration of Independence written on hemp.
Those documents.
So, it's good. And this is what people don't understand. Legalizing cannabis and making hemp back into the industrial economy is going to create more than they think, ripples.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a sea change in society because of it.
Yeah.
You know, and we're seeing it in other areas too. And obviously, the old school people are always going to fight it, and they're not going to go down easy. You know, we
Right.
saw what happened in Connecticut, we saw what happened in New York. You know, so the legalization of cannabis is still going to be a fight, but the hemp is something that, like you say, you talked to Republicans about it the other day. Both,
it's all
it's a
good.
bipartisan issue, which
Bipartisan
one of
issue.
the few
Yeah.
bipartisan things out there that people can all get behind, and
Yeah.
we've got to ride that because it is the doorway into legalization of full
It is.
cannabis.
And if Acreage is listening, you know, they're more than welcome to buy me out.
Right.
I'm
Well,
only
you know,
taking a couple $1 million.
interesting enough. I was reading an article here. Here's one right here. The U.S.
Let's hear it.
The head of the USDA is worried that farmers will grow too much hemp. The head of the Department of Agriculture said he's worried that strong interest in hemp could drive farmers to cultivate too much of the crop once the regulations are in place. So he said there's a lot of interest nationwide in hemp that could be a real salvation crop for farmers along the way. But farmers are so productive, I'm afraid that they may overproduce like a lot of things in that way, and then the price may go down. So now,
Gee Willikers.
now listen to these stats. Farmers grew more than 78,000 acres of hemp in 2018, which is about 50,000 more than they produced in 2017. The USDA still isn't rushing the rulemaking process, but it expects to release regulations before the 2020 season.
How big?
So can you imagine what 2019 is going to be?
75,000.
78,000 acres in 2018 nationwide.
All right, so Connecticut's in their first year. We certified 60 farmers at 10 acres apiece. That's another 600 acres.
Yeah, and then how about every other state that's doing
Exactly.
it? Florida, 2018, at the end of the year, they made it legal. So 2019, all these pilot programs are going into effect, and that's what he's worried about. Well, then you better start allowing export, huh?
And that's going to be the next
Seriously.
part.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
going to develop to that, and even if
I mean, he's right.
so,
But
everybody. So let's discuss this, Joe. Everybody's going to grow it, but not everybody's growing it for hemp CBD.
No, they're
You know what
growing
I
it.
mean?
So this is where the industry now needs to evolve, because you need to have producers and manufacturers who will use this hemp.
So I'll take it one step further, Joe. How many American hempcrete companies
Right.
do you know?
None.
Exactly. So
How many American hemp fuel companies do you know?
None.
None.
exactly.
How many
That's
should
what
there
we're
be?
lacking.
There should be one per tri-state area.
I agree.
So
That's
50
what we're
states
lacking is
divided by
production.
3. You're talking there should be at least 20 of each of these facilities in the country.
But I think they've all been waiting. I think it's also a very expensive proposition, probably to make
Super
oil
expensive.
or gasoline,
But
fuel
it's also
from hemp.
cheaper than the regular commodities.
This is where we need people to start looking at the other side, not just the growing, the production and the manufacturing of hemp, besides CBD.
Right.
I've been looking for a company that's doing all this. I haven't been able to find one
So
to invest in.
I'm looking for, like, my personal interest with hemp is construction application.
Hempcrete.
Hempcrete, hemp fiber board, those two specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So if it gets to the point where an investor comes out and says, "What's your interest?" I would like to start a hempcrete company. Let's formulate the hempcrete.
What's it need? Yeah, what do we need?
What do you need? You just need some land, and you need to formulate the formulation, mix it, and have a steady supply of fresh bulk biomass.
Right.
And
then
now that's that farmer, that the new farmer that's doing 100 acres. I'm going to buy all 100 acres so I can make my hempcrete for the year.
right. And
You
then
know?
you're realistically just selling it in bags to people who are going to use it for construction.
And it really helps people understand the proportionality of this industry, right? We can all be in agreement there are many uses and purposes. So when we have people who try to get up and speak on how it's going to impact the
Without
global
Kebra to
market,
call in.
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a challenge when they don't factor in that. You know, when they
Right.
become so fixated that, oh, this is going to crash an industry, when the purpose is of the usage will actually drive more.
Create more
Commerce.
industry demand. Now there's going to be demand for hempcrete. So there's got to be factories built. So somebody's got to say, what am I going to invest in? Oh, I'm going to invest in a hempcrete factory. I'm going to invest in a hemp clothing company. All these things now is all new industries that were shut out before.
Yep.
And now the door is open, and I think, like you said, this may be correct that they need more. Now those companies now need to step forward and really start being actually supported by the government. There
Right.
should be a way that they could be subsidized
And
or
the head
helped.
of the Department of Agriculture shouldn't say that there's going to be too much growing. They should say that we have a lot growing and we should grow even more because it will stimulate business. It
Yeah.
will drive sales. It will create industry. It will create jobs. You know?
I absolutely agree. I mean, I think, to be honest, not to be the whistleblower, but I'll blow a whistle, is that, he's doing a great disservice to even the representation of the Department of Agriculture, because
Right.
you should be able to know that even in a basic pie chart, right, you're going to be able to divvy up this product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Exactly
day, they're
right.
going to make money, but also you could solve what I call state of emergencies in some of these major cities that are having housing crises.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how many third world and how many Haiti?
Oh my
Do you
gosh.
think Haiti could not be rebuilt with hemp?
100%.
Literally
Right?
in months.
In months, right? All these third world countries, all these countries that need help, they could be helped with hemp, and it is a lot less expensive than petroleum
Mm-hmm.
and cotton.
You say something like that, and now that goes through my head. It's a place like Haiti, even on a support trip, you export the hemp from Africa at super low cost because they have export, and you import into Haiti with their newly imported import laws, and you make hempcrete. You use you use a cement mixing truck, and you're able to pour foundations the same way you would. This is just me thinking right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What more would it really take? And now, you know what? Maybe that's a philanthropy that our company picks up at some point.
It'd be
when it's-
great. What if Haiti could be the first sustainable island? Complete. It's devastated.
Yep.
You could literally start from scratch, right? Yeah.
Well, we'd be looked at as the gringos that came over, and even though we part of the tribe, they'd still say that the Americanos are looking to take over Haiti again.
Let me ask Sam a question. Sam, is there another number Kebra can call? She said her phone is not letting her call, maybe because she's in Puerto Rico.
I could figure it out. I could give her my number and she could just call into the station.
All right, you want to
Sam is
there? You want to text her this number?
Sam,
Text
you got
her
an
on
iPhone
here.
charger over there, brother. You're the man.
All right,
This
just
guy
text
is
her on my
awesome.
phone.
Harry,
Tell
we're
her
gonna
to try that number.
we're gonna up his pay to a penny.
I also may have a feeling it could be because she's in Puerto Rico and I don't know what her company service is down there.
Right.
But Vieques has had some trouble with cell service.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Some
I don't
mics.
know who she uses, but Verizon is terrible down there.
That's definitely been my experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Just ping ponging.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah. So that could be the issue down there. She is on Vieques, which is a small little island off the main coast of off the main island. And I was just there, so I know T-Mobile doesn't work well. Verizon, they sold all their interest in Puerto Rico to some company named Claro, and they're just terrible.
Claro
too.
network is huge in South America. Clarity, literally.
Yeah, but they're just not set up right in Puerto Rico yet. So hopefully it's not a cell phone issue. He just texted her his number, so maybe we'll get her through.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Sharing the good down there. That was a very emotional spot
It's a
right
beautiful thing.
It
She's
was
awesome.
Yeah, it is, and it still needs help.
And she was on live on the Facebook looking all.
She's having fun.
Yeah.
there. In that tan.
Puerto
Yeah,
Rico is the spot.
She said it's
Shining.
beautiful. I was like, look at her looking all shiny.
Yeah.
I saw the freckles.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
you know,
beautiful.
That's
She's a beautiful
place
woman
down
in
there.
and out. That's kind of just what it is. She's a beautiful woman in and out.
Respect.
It's a shame that that area got hit by that.
Rough.
But look, just like anything, in extreme crisis, there is always an opportunity.
I say let's grow hemp.
It's an opportunity to rebuild that island because the infrastructure there was failing anyway. It was terrible. There was,
It was rough,
if the size
rough.
of the hurricane like that had hit a United States city,
which you did.
it did. But I mean,
And they got a
with
lot
that
more aid.
impact,
They got a lot more aid.
they got a
and
lot
stuff.
more aid. But let's face it, Puerto Rico took the brunt
Oh,
of
the total
that storm by the time it hit.
That before it hit anything else.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Puerto
It-
Rico is the first island out there.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
just-
prepared for hurricanes, but
Mhm.
it's just that the infrastructure wasn't.
It's an
Their
older
power
infrastructure.
lines,
It was an
yeah.
older infrastructure.
So now
Man,
it
I'm
needs to be
beat today.
redone.
I'm starting to crash.
Well, man, we're almost done here.
I'm sorry, man. We were at the farm early this morning.
Yeah. Well, very good, man. It's
Good
it's-
people,
you're-
great people.
They'll be prepared to grow, though. There's definitely, with the shuffle of the land out there, especially when it comes to
Mhm.
hemp and
lot of
the
opportunity.
medical community is obviously stepping it up. They really want to be a part.
Medical cannabis is key, sir.
Mm.
Yeah.
It really is still to this day.
Mm.
You're right about that. The medical community will have a nice impact on the island as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They already have their medically legal out there. There's quite a few dispensaries, a couple of growers out there. There's still room to grow it. They have 31 conditions. They have
Ooh.
the most conditions of any United States state. Let's say a state, territory state. They have the most conditions on their program. So they are making progress, and they are putting their hemp regulations together right now. So they say they should be ready by the end of the summer.
That's awesome.
So there will be opportunities in hemp. And there is, from what I understand, there's a growing movement in the Puerto Rican Senate to legalize completely.
It's an idea.
So, yeah, I think it would help that island tremendously, because it's,
big tourism.
Oh, huge.
it would have to be done
Huge.
properly,
Yeah.
You got to
with
make
the right
sure
controls.
it's right. It
You
really
gotta
has
have the
to
right
be down
controls,
there.
especially down in the island. And
Yeah.
everything, because sometimes, mi gente.
Yeah, things
do
get
what we do.
lost. Things happen down there.
It's beautiful because seriously, all right. So
Back of the truck
the
opens.
one thing
whatever.
nobody ever thinks about is if you're a legal cannabis grower in the United States, you cannot smoke your own cannabis.
Yeah.
It's like in the rules, you can't just pick a nug off the end. Like you just can't. It's the rules say you cannot just go in your garden and pick a nug off and just walk away with it. You will be sanctioned and fined and get in trouble, and you can risk your license for doing that because you don't want your employees to do that. You don't want random people to do it. So it makes it so that nobody can do it. So if you work at like Advanced Grow Labs in West Haven, you're not going to be an employee just pulling a nug. You will get fired.
No, you will get fired right away.
You will get fired immediately. And there's cameras everywhere, and they
You
won't.
have to wear a special suit.
So this is the way the Connecticut grow facilities work. So you just can't walk in there. Oh, I'm a grower, and just pill your nugs out.
Yeah.
You
No.
know. So
Unless you're a home grower.
unless you're a home grower, which gives you that better right. But this is where we talk about the grower being able to smoke his own bud or make it into concentrate or not.
Well, speaking of home grow, did you hear what they did in Mass with the home grow rules? Oh, Keeper's on the phone. Okay. How are we going to get her in?
Oh, Sam is gonna.
Kebra, can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh, there she is.
All right.
Hi, Kebra.
Weva.
Kebra.
Oh, yeah.
I heard her voice.
I heard her voice too. Also, you're listening to 103.5 WNHH, your home for local and community radio.
Yeah, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio, NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook
Keep it
Live.
moving.
Just go to Facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page and look us up. While we're waiting for Kebra, she is in Puerto Rico. Like I said, the self-service is spotty down there.
Yay!
There she is. Hi, Kebra.
Hi, y'all.
How you doing down there
Hey.
in Puerto Rico, Kebra?
Oh, yeah, Puerto Rico is nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're about to go to Bigotes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hey, muy buena.
Very, very good.
You're doing the good work over there, Kebra. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
So,
for having me.
what have you done down there? Have you enjoyed yourself? I see you've been to 2 or 3 different places on the main island, and now you're on Vieques. Am I correct?
Yep. Wait, hold on one second, guys. Hold
Mm-hmm.
on.
It's a busy place, man, and she's doing a lot of awesome things.
She's
She's
hanging out with the nurses.
Yep, they're really going out there and helping the people.
I know that
because-
restaurant she's going to. It's very good.
Oof.
Well,
That's-
it's lunch. You got to get a little Desayuna right there, real
Well,
quick.
well, they usually finish up early because of the sun.
Yeah.
And the sopas, the
Yeah.
soups.
Oh,
Ooh.
That's what's been, I feel
Yeah.
very, very nourished.
yeah.
Yes, yes, sir.
Great food on Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Great
ever get out
food.
there, take your medical card, get your.
Again, most of the places
can
have a
get-
garden and they grow their own stuff.
Yes.
And put it right there.
So
and
now,
cook
correct
with
me if we're wrong, there, gentlemen. You can get a visitor's medical marijuana card.
$25.
They are about that life. They are about that
So
life.
if you are traveling to Puerto Rico,
And they happen to have like dispensaries right outside the airport
Hello?
and the ferry.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was getting a ride.
You're awesome, Kebra.
Bigotes.
It's great food there. You'll like it, Kebra. I went there when I was there.
Okay, yeah, I'm meeting your cousin here.
Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Full circle.
There we go. Well,
Yeah.
please say hello to my
So-
cousin.
I will. So, so far I've been here a couple of days. We're going to be working at the free clinic tomorrow all day. So
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's listening from Vegas, but if anybody just so happens to be listening from Vegas online, it's free care for anybody from the island tomorrow. So I have Dr. Caroline Hartledge working here with me, and we're both cannabis. She's a cannabis physician, and I'm a cannabis nurse. But we're here just with general medicine. And so we're going to just be
That's
helping people
amazing.
with a variety of chronic illnesses, from hypertension, diabetes, to, a variety of things.
Look at that. That's gorgeous.
That's great.
And where is she
Kebra.
from, Kebra?
Dr. Caroline?
Yes.
She's from New York.
Look at that.
That's
Multi-states
great,
from
Kebra.
all over the country. That's love. That is love.
There's a lot of people from Brooklyn, from New York, that are here volunteering, but it's literally people from all over.
That's awesome, man.
And they're not only doing the free clinic, but they're also rebuilding and repairing houses. They're going to be putting on new roofs and insulating and doing a bunch of different things for 127 houses out here.
All right.
Wow.
That's love.
Awesome,
Yeah, so
Kebra.
it's a great mission. I'm excited to be here. I'm scoping out Vegas for ways that we can bring Canna Health and maybe help some folks down there. So
Yes,
I'm all
yes.
excited.
Make sure you connect with that gentleman that
awesome.
I linked you up with.
He's a part of the team. Isn't
Ah,
that
very
I
nice.
figured she said that he hooks up. He gets involved in a lot of the clinics that go on down there. So that's good.
Yep.
Then you're in the right hands, Kebra. You trust me. We'll
It's
have
beautiful.
a can of help down there before you know it.
Amazing.
And Lou, congratulations on all the things you're doing. I can't wait to come visit the farm.
You already know, Kebra. You got a special role right there for you. We appreciate
All
you.
right.
Yeah, I was there pulling up weeds the other day.
Get it? We
All
do.
right. Well, I'll talk to you guys.
Kebra,
Thank
much love
you.
down there.
Hey.
Please send much love to my family down on the island and all the people down there. Bye-bye.
Will do. Thank
Keep
you.
up the
Bye.
good.
Bye-bye.
That's awesome.
She's awesome.
You know
We-
I knew
you know,
she'd
she has
love
a-
that spot.
Yeah, she's got a huge heart, and it's awesome that she can share it. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
She's in
thing.
good hands too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
So
and it's been
she-
gorgeous out there. She's
Oh,
got
yeah.
she said she saw the
Dude,
beach.
It's
The
like perfect.
oh,
weather.
Joe, when you came back, you were talking about how gorgeous it was out
Perfect
there, man.
every single day.
The
And if
ultimate
I'm not wrong,
skies are
you
clear.
actually was out there with Jason not too long ago. Actually, Jason Ortiz.
Oh, you were there at the same
from
time?
Cure.
Yeah, for the Minority Cannabis Council.
Oh, so you
Yep.
know.
Yeah, that was a great event to be able to show up, be a part. They're very open. Like I said, people coming in from all over the world, really
Right.
wanting to make this that much more real, and especially on the equity side, especially on the medical side, making
Right.
sure that people are covered. It's great. But Jason and all the other colleagues, doing amazing things. Another flashpoint. Luis
Jason's
Member
going
as
down
well.
actually next week.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to see what the island can produce on many different levels.
Right.
Because there's so much potential.
Absolutely. I want to see that place get really rebuilt. It deserves it.
It's gonna be. It's
I
gonna be
learned a
awesome.
lot about the history of Puerto Rico, and those people have been through a lot
Yeah,
from a long time ago.
Many
back
years.
Columbus.
many years, many times,
you
many
know,
stories.
Yeah.
Joe, we can get info on that. My last name is Vega, and it comes from Spain.
Ah.
So there's a full migration, and it turns out, my family comes from France. So
And they ended up down on the
my
island?
bloodline, from France. So what the idea is that they were French travelers, signed up for a journey or something from Spain to the New World, and from that they enslaved the Taino people,
Oh.
and the standard conquesting.
Yeah,
of
I
Latin
know. I come from
Americas.
colonists too.
And so they conquered our island, and and with separatism and racism and everything that went on during those times, the lighter complexion children of the conquistadores became the landowners,
Right.
and then the other half of the family, which was still the family, but were more trigañito, darker, separated out,
Workers.
and it became workers. Where a lot of my family, my grandparents, still had an outhouse before they passed. You know what I mean? It's just a different way of life.
Totally. There was a
You know?
lot of slavery going on there that people don't realize. There was a whole indigenous group of people called the Tayanos, Indians, which there are very, very few left of now because most people down there, like you say, are mixed.
Yeah.
A lot of Spanish came
And it's
down.
just the integration. It's the same thing that would happen
Here.
you
It
know,
happened here.
Yep. We have beautiful American people that are so many different cultures. It's it's an amazing thing. We are the melting pot.
Yep.
It's true.
And on that note, we are the melting pot. Let's
We are a melting pot. This show has always been very mixed, and we want to keep it that way.
Tasty.
sir. Now,
No real events going on this month. We had to cancel this discussion group because we had scheduling conflicts.
but you can see us at the Grove at any time, my friend.
come down to Grove anytime, and we'll just keep you posted. We'll see you next week. Take
And
care.
stay
on
happy,
Cannabis
healthy, and
Corner.
high.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to 103.5 WNHH, your home for local and community radio, streaming live on the newhavenindependent.org as well as TuneIn. You can find us on Apple Podcast or SoundCloud under WNHH. Thank you for listening.
I'm chasing turkey bag, chasing gold, y'all. Tell us down, we won't go far.